Hello and good morning, grade 7. We are going today to get our session for water on earth. That's the first lesson for new book of water and atmosphere. And it's talking about three, axes working together. Yeah, number one, why is water important? Number two, where is water found? Number three, what is the water cycle? So we'll make this lesson onto two parts, and that's part one with the first two questions. Why is water important? And where is water found? Let's go there. Yeah. Why is water important? So when we are talking about water importance, it's all about two things. Number one, it's all about water for the organisms and how it acts for the organisms. And number two, how water can act as habitat or a good environment for living for some environmental issues. We'll get that too. Number one, about the importance for the living organisms. All living things need water in order to carry out their body processes. In addition, many living things live in water. So we get it for the process and we get it for living. So it might be a habitat or it might be included in the body processes. Number one, body processes. For animals, water allows organisms to break down food and grow, reproduce, and get and use materials. These materials they can get from the food or even to absorb it from the soil sometimes for the plants. But here, it's getting the materials when they get the food and they need from the environment. That's what for the animals. And also, animals obtain water by drinking it or by eating food that contain water. Sometimes we get some food containing water, like the citrus, like when you get watermelon. All of that is getting a lot of water inside content of these plants. Also, most animals cannot survive more than a few days without water because, as you know, most of the body processes depend on water. Let's go further. For plants, and for plants and other organisms that make their own food also need water. Algae, like for example, also, yeah. And we said algae are living in the water bodies, like in the sea, like in the lakes, like in the ponds, and plants use water along with carbon dioxide and energy from the sun in order to make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. And if we get to that photo, it means it's coming from the sunlight. Synthesis means to make their own food. And other organisms get food by eating the plants, like consumers, or by eating organisms that eat the plants. So it's like a series or a chain of food coming or starting by the plants and algae and ends by the bacteria. So let's get to the habitats. We have aquatic habitat, which is mainly made up of water. And the water provides habitat for many living things. An organism's habitat, place where it lives and obtain their things, and also the needs to survive. So when we say that water will be a habitat, so these organisms cannot live without the water or without the presence of the water, like fish. Some organisms cannot live out of water. You are probably familiar with large water dwelling organisms such as sharks. They cannot live without water. And also, most such organisms are microscopic, in fact, aquatic or water habitats contain more than type of these organisms that you can see. Algae, phytoplanktons. It's a little bit, organisms that cannot be seen by naked eye, but microscopically you can see. Where is water found? That's our second question for the first part. And you have to concentrate more about this part because it's seriously giving you the overall idea about the water. So most of the water, if we call the water all over the world 100%, so roughly 97% of this water is salt water found in oceans and salt lakes also. So this part is a huge part of water in form of salt water in the oceans. And the only 3% of the water is fresh water. And the fresh water, the water we can drink, and other organisms can drink too. So let's get what's going to be how the 3% are divided. So we said that the salt water is roughly about 97%, and it's already in two bodies, which is oceans and seas, and also salt lakes. And the fresh water, which is this part, this little bar, is 3%. 3% is divided accordingly to this. Yeah. 70% or roughly around 70% of the 3% are in form of ice. So we cannot use it. Yeah. And also we get groundwater that seep inside the soil. Yeah. And that's around 30%. And water vapor is about 0.04% of the 3%. And the lakes and rivers are around, 26% of the water. So it's a little bit amount of water that we can drink. So what's going to happen in order to reschedule that accordingly to this percent? Let's see the water bodies we start with. Number one, which has the majority of the water in form of salt water, is oceans. The oceans can be found on the map, like we say, Pacific Ocean, according to its position, yeah, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, and Arctic Ocean, and also are the names used for different parts of the ocean. And also, guys, some scientists call the area around Antarctica or the Southern Ocean. That's in the north. That's in the South Pole, Antarctica, and that's already frozen. Yeah, the waters are really interconnected, making up one big ocean. So all of the ocean are connected together, no separation between them. Also, the Pacific Ocean becomes the largest one, covering the area by the greater place of the land. So that's Pacific. It's getting most of the water of the ocean. And coming next is the Atlantic Ocean. And after that, the Indian Ocean is a deeper one. And by the end, Arctic Ocean, which is around the North Pole there. So accordingly, guys, the North and South Pole will get the Arctic Ocean there in the north. That's frozen one. Seas. Seas here are smaller saltwater bodies. They are smaller than the oceans, like the Mediterranean Sea, like the Red Sea, like the Dead Sea. All of that are, small bodies of salt water. For example, we get that on the map, guys. Get here, that's the Atlantic Ocean in this area, between Africa and south of North America, also Europe. And we'll get the largest one, which is the Pacific. It's like around the Earth, taking also the area. And also we'll get inside ocean, which is the Indian one. We have India here. We have India. So in this area, that's the Indian Ocean. And also we have the Arctic Ocean, which is in the North Pole. And that's most of the time is frozen water. So guys, you will see that they are all connected together without any separation of continents. So it's like a big ocean. So we can say that the Earth is like a big ocean, guys. We will get small water bodies like the Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea. Yeah, we get here Caspian Sea. We will get the Caribbean too. We can get here the Red Sea. All of that are, small salt water bodies. Let's go to the second one, which is ice. If we get to the ice here, you will get that the ice is in form of big icebergs. It's like a huge mountain of ice. So much of Earth's surface is getting fresh water in form of frozen ice sheets. And also the massive ice sheets covers most of Greenland and Antarctica in the north, so it's a frozen part. And also the icebergs are floating chunks of ice made of fresh water that break off from ice sheets. So the icebergs can start to flow over the oceans in the north exactly of Arctic, ocean. You could also find icebergs in the Arctic Ocean and in the North Atlantic one. So if we get to the Arctic Ocean here in the North Pole, so we'll get a lot of ice in this area. In the north of the Atlantic Ocean, so that area of the Atlantic Ocean will get icebergs too. The third one, guys, we can get from this part is rivers and lakes. And the rivers and lakes, guys, are mostly fresh water, except for the salt lakes will be in the salt part. But here we are talking about the lakes in form of fresh water. So rivers and lakes, look at figure 2, we'll get some lakes here again. So we'll get here some lakes, yeah. And some lakes are here also, yeah. So mostly we'll get a lot of lakes here, Great Lakes here in North America. So that's the presence of lakes here. So all rivers and lakes marked on the map contain fresh water mostly, and as do many other smaller rivers and lakes too. Also, North America get 5 Great Lakes here contains about 20% of all of the water in the world's fresh lakes. So freshwater lakes are getting 20% inside only North America. Let's get to last part in our journey for the first part of this lesson, which is groundwater. And the groundwater, we can get a good definition for it, the water that fills the cracks and spaces in underground soil and rock layers is called underground water, or we say sometimes groundwater. Yeah. To find some of fresh water on Earth, you have to look underground. So when it's raining or snow is coming, rains or snow, so most of water does not evaporate and soak into the ground like sponge. And this water, trickles through spaces between the particles of the soil and rocks, like it's going to penetrate through. Far more fresh water is located underground than in all of the rivers and lakes. So if we get the 20%, mostly in the lakes, we get it in North America, we'll get a lot of water underground, around sometimes 40 to 60%. Yeah, the water cycle, and that will be our start of the next session, inshallah. I will start to give you a little hint about it. It is a continuous process by which water moves from the Earth's surface to the atmosphere and the back, driven by the energy of the sun and gravity. So we can say that the water is going to evaporate through the sunlight and heat, and after that, accordingly to the gravity, it will start to rain downward, not upward. So that's our, illustration about the next session. If you please, guys, yeah, be committed to your assignments on Pearson Realize and stay safe at home. With you, Mr. Samir Awad. Thank you for your time and your attention.